What's up, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, Harari Boy, and today I want to break down the different paths to financial freedom and which one actually makes sense. All right. So there's a lot of different ways people think they can become financially free. Some people want to invest their way there, and some want to build a business. Some also want to do real estate, and some want to cut their expenses as much as possible. Believe it or not, some people are willing to work longer if it means they can enjoy their life along the way. But here's the thing. Not every strategy is actually realistic for the average person. So some require an extremely high income. Some require a lot of risk, taking a lot of risks. Some basically mean you're still working just in a different way. So by the end of this video, I'm going to break down the major paths to financial freedom, explain what each one actually requires, and tell you which approach I think makes the most sense for the average person. Because becoming financially free isn't just about making more money, it's about what you do with the money that you make. Alright guys, as some of you may know, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan. I've been searching all over Netflix to watch Dragon Ball episodes, but unfortunately Netflix here just doesn't have them. But which version of Netflix does? Netflix Japan. Some of you might be wondering, how on earth am I accessing Netflix Japan, right? Well, that's where NordVPN comes in. NordVPN is one of the top VPN services out there. It allows you to mask your location and browse securely, which is perfect for protecting your privacy. Plus, NordVPN can basically change your location to anywhere in the world with just a few clicks. So it's just as easy as that. That's how I'm able to access Netflix Japan and binge all of the Dragon Ball episodes that I can fathom. It's not just about watching international shows, however. NordVPN adds an extra layer of security basically as you're browsing, so your personal information stays safe and your online activity remains private. If you want to unlock more content and protect your privacy online, head over to nordvpn.com/harariboy to get over 70% off a 2-year subscription plus 3 months free. And if you don't like it, you can cancel within 30 days and get a money back guarantee. It is worth the peace of mind and extra content you'll have access to. All right, so let's talk about the traditional path: work, save, and invest, right? In that order. This is probably the most straightforward path. You have a job or a business, you live below your means, you save a portion of your income, you invest consistently over time. Eventually, your investments become large enough that you don't have to depend entirely on your paycheck, okay? There's nothing flashy about this, I must warn, but you're not trying to be rich overnight. Get rich overnight. You're steadily trying to build your wealth instead. And honestly, that's the part where people don't want to hear, right? Financial freedom usually isn't one giant financial decision. At the end of the day, it's hundreds of boring, disciplined decisions repeated for years. The more you control your lifestyle, the more money you have available to save and invest. All right. You don't necessarily need to make 500K a year. You need to essentially stop spending every dollar that you make. All right. So again, the goal isn't to look wealthy here. The goal is to become wealthy enough so you don't have to work forever. All right, so that's number one. All right, so number two, the business owner path. All right, so another path is building a business. Some might argue this is the fastest way to build wealth, but this can potentially accelerate everything because your income isn't necessarily tied to a fixed salary, right? If you build something valuable, you could potentially create significant cash flow or eventually sell the business. But there's a major difference between owning a business and owning a job. All right, very huge business. And a lot of people start businesses thinking they're buying themselves freedom, and then they end up working 80 hours a week. The business owns them. So the goal shouldn't just be how much money can I make? The better question is, can I build something that creates value without consuming my entire life? This path can be incredibly powerful, but it's also one of the least predictable, right? You could spend years building something that just never works. That's why I wouldn't build my entire financial future around the assumption that my business is going to become $1 million exit strategy. So build the business, but don't let your lifestyle depend on a future payday that hasn't happened yet. So that's a key takeaway here. A couple examples of this is essentially starting a franchise, like maybe owning a 7-Eleven that owns you. I've heard those horror stories, or like a fast food chain, things like that. The latest one are like the mom and pop Chinese restaurants that are like just shutting down left and right because they have no one else to pass it on to. So that's essentially an example that's happening over and over again to many people. And this is why the business owner path is a good path to follow, but with a lot of caution. All right. So the aggressive saver path. This is where you decide you're going to sacrifice more today to buy yourself freedom sooner. All right. You make good income. You keep your lifestyle relatively low. You aggressively save and invest the difference. The whole idea to compress the timeline, instead of spending 30 years building wealth, you try to do it in 10 or 15 years, right? So this is like the FIRE method, if you guys have ever heard of that, right? And this is where living below your means becomes extremely powerful. If you make 100K and spend 95,000, you're going to have a very hard time becoming financially independent. If you make 100K and can live on, let's say, 60K, now you have a completely different situation. And of course, I'm talking about after taxes are taken out. So the gap between what you earn and what you spend is where your financial freedom comes from. The bigger the gap, the more options you create for yourself. Okay. But there's a warning here. Don't become obsessed with saving that you hate your life for 10 years. You need to find a level of spending that is sustainable, balanced, and the goal is to build wealth, not to punish yourself. So a lot of people, that's where they make the mistake. They look at saving as punishment. No, it's really supposed to be the opposite. So just keep that in mind. All right, so let's talk about the fourth one, the I don't need much path. Right? Some people become financially independent much faster because they genuinely don't need a lot to be happy. All right. They don't need the biggest house. They don't need the newest car. They don't need to constantly upgrade their own lifestyle. They can live simply and still have a great life. All right. And this is incredibly powerful because the less money you need to live, the less money you need to become financially free. If your lifestyle costs $100,000, you need a lot more money than someone who can live an amazing life on 40K. All right, $40,000. Your expenses determine how much freedom you actually need. So, but again, there's a difference between being financially disciplined and being miserable. All right. I'm not saying you should never eat out. I'm not saying you don't ever need to travel. I'm not saying you can't have nice things. What I am saying, though, however, you should be intentional. You should be telling your money what to do and not the other way around. Spend money on things you actually value, not just because you can afford them at the end of the day. Always live below your means. All right, so the fifth method, which is work less, not never. So here's another approach that I think a lot of people overlook. You don't necessarily have to go from working 30 or 50 hours a week to never working again. Maybe you build enough wealth that you can work part-time. Maybe you consult, maybe you freelance, maybe you work seasonally. Maybe you build a small business that brings you in some extra income. The goal is that your investments and your income work together hand in hand. You don't need your investments to pay 100% of your lifestyle at the end of the day. You just need them to cover enough that you have control over your time. All right. And I think this is a really important distinction here. Financial freedom isn't necessarily about never working again. It's about getting to the point where you don't have to accept every job, every schedule, every opportunity just because you need the paycheck. All right. So now let's talk about the real estate path. This is another famous one where people think it's a get rich quick scheme, but let's break it down. Real estate is another popular path. Essentially, the basic idea is simply buy an asset, rent it out, build equity in that asset, generate cash flow, and rinse and repeat, right? On paper, this looks extremely attractive, but you have to remember something. Real estate isn't truly passive for most people. Tenants, repairs, vacancies, insurance, taxes, maintenance, and financing. All of those things are part of the equation. And if you're using debt, you're also taking on additional risks. So I think real estate can absolutely be a great wealth building tool, but I wouldn't get into it just because someone on the internet told me it's passive income. That happens a lot. You don't understand the numbers. At the end of the day, you don't have an investment, you have a gamble. So a couple of things to think about there, but other than that, it is a lucrative path to follow. So the high income lifestyle path. Another way people reach financial freedom is simply by increasing their income dramatically. So the idea of out earn your spending, or out earn in some cases your stupidity. So maybe you're a high level professional. Maybe you own a successful company. Maybe you develop a skill that the market pays extremely well for. Higher income can obviously accelerate wealth building, but there's a gap here. All right. Your income goes up, your house gets bigger, your car gets more expensive, your vacations get more expensive as well, and your monthly expenses all of a sudden rise, right? And suddenly you're making 3 times as much money, but somehow you're still living paycheck to paycheck. Making more money doesn't automatically make you wealthy at the end of the day. You have to keep some of it, right? And this is why controlling your lifestyle is important. The person making $200,000 who spends $195 isn't necessarily in a better financial position than someone making $100,000 who lives on $60,000, let's say. So similar example to before, but that's a high level path. And again, the goal isn't to work forever. So that path is definitely a surefire way to ensure that. So ensure that you'll be working forever. So I don't want that for you guys. All right. So let's talk about the 8th most popular, the long game, right? The long haul. And the path that doesn't try to retire extremely early. You simply have consistently saved over time, you've invested, and you avoid unnecessary debt at the end of the day. You continue working, you let time do its thing, and maybe you retire at 55 instead of 35. And honestly, that's still a huge win, because at that age you don't want to work anymore, right? I think sometimes the internet makes people feel like if they aren't financially independent by 30, they failed. The real failure is if you grow old and you don't have anything saved in retirement. So you always have to have this at least as a backup plan. The long game should be a backup plan and be running in the background, and then do whatever you want afterwards. But you don't have to win the race as fast as possible, right? You just need to make sure you're moving in the right direction. So slow incremental paths is the way to go. The goal is financial freedom, not winning an imaginary competition with strangers online that you have no idea about. Okay. All right. So the second to last one is going to be the lifestyle inflation trap. All right. So this ties into number 7 a little bit, but there's some distinct differences here. So I think this is probably one of the biggest things people need to understand. When you start making more money, the natural reaction is to spend more. You get a raise, you upgrade your car. You get a bigger house, and you start eating more. You add subscriptions, and you take more expensive vacations at the end of the day. And before your new income has become your new minimum. That's the trap. If every raise immediately becomes a new expense, you're never actually getting ahead. The smartest thing you can do when your income increases is increase your investments and financial margin before increasing your lifestyle. So a lifestyle change should be last on the list. You can still enjoy your money, just don't let every dollar of additional income disappear as if you never got it. Okay. All right. So that brings us to the last point here. My biggest takeaway. All right. So if I had to simplify all these different strategies into one idea, it's this: live below your means. That's it. You can earn 50K, 100K, or even 500K. The principle does not change for you. Okay. If you spend everything you make, you're always going to need your next paycheck. If you consistently spend less than you make, save the difference and invest wisely. You're building options in that regard. So the strategy you choose matters, your income matters, your investment matters, but your lifestyle is the foundation underneath all of it. So because every dollar you don't need to spend is a dollar that you can use to build your future. All right. So when you look at all of these different paths of financial freedom, I don't think the question should be which strategy gets rich the fastest. I think the better question is which strategy is realistic to stick with over the next 10, 20, or even 30 years, because the fastest strategy isn't always the best strategy. The most complicated strategy isn't the best strategy either. And the strategy that works for somebody else might not fit your lifestyle or your life at all. Right? So the best financial plan at the end of the day is the one that allows you to live below your means, build wealth consistently, and actually enjoy your life while doing it. So whether it's real estate or portfolio investments, things like that, at the end of the day, if you're following these principles, you should come out sound at the end of it. All right. So I'm curious to know which path you think makes the most sense for you in your situation. Are you focused on increasing your income, paying off debt, investing, building a business, or are you just trying to get your spending under control first, right? Which is definitely noble. So let me know in the comments below because I want to hear what everybody's working towards. If you got value out of this video, be sure to leave me a thumbs up and subscribe because we're going to keep breaking down money and wealth in a way that's actually practical, not just theory. So thanks guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.